Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Chris here from Big Sports News, Axe Rotation, however the flip you know me in these interwebs. And today, oh, baby, look at that score. 26 points on the leaderboard. Oh, we went crazy. We went crazy. Let's get into this in a minute. But anyways, hope you guys enjoy the Call of Duty. As always, hope you enjoyed all the highlights from this weekend. Your boy has not missed an upload since Major 1. I've been on that grind. Daily uploads every single day to this channel. We're trying to really see this library with some great content, some consistent content for you guys. So, I don't know why I'm saying we. It's just me. It's just me out here. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into this week's matches. We had a lot of blowouts, so not really too much to talk about. But just quick promo, if you guys haven't joined already, be sure to sign up for COD Stats. Me and Turnt are over here, trying to bring the best value that we can. I'm over here helping out as a moderator, and I offer suggestions, but Turnt is obviously the guy who runs this. He's, the brains behind this operation. I'm just a humble person offering some suggestions and some help with social media. So, without further ado, let's get into the first series of the week, which was, let's go back to week 1, was OpTic Texas taking on the Boston Riyadh. As you guys can see, I expected a hot 3-0 from the green wall, our Major 1 runners-up. Let's see how it went down. So, as you guys can see, I wagered 250 G6 creds, 1377. Not bad at all. Who else but Mercules 1.48 KD, 6544. Yeah, I mean, 6744, 6754 from Shotzi, Dashy 5754, Hook 50 and 54. And then on the other side, Nasty, Even, and everybody else negative. Cammy 47 and 70. Really rough series from him. I mean, yeah, neg 23 is just, that's supremely tough. So 250 to 180 in map 1. Mercules went absolutely nuclear, 37 22. Nothing else to write home about. On the other side, 27 and 23 from Nasty. It's okay, but, it is what it is. 6-3 Scar S&D went the way of OpTic, 10-3 from Shotzi, 8-3 from Merc, Dashy 7-5. Then on the other side, Purge 8-7 was really the best player on the Boston side. Then the Den Overload, OpTic, of course, closed it out here. Why wouldn't they, right? I mean, Boston just looked pretty hopeless. So Dashy, Bruce took over 29-20, Merc 20-19, 26-25 from Hook, and 25-27 from Shotzi. So on the other side, Boston, you had Nasty, only player, well, him and Snoop, only players positive, but marginally in the case of Snoopy, right, 24-23, Nasty 23-20. So yeah, just had to go next. OpTic absolutely trounced those guys as we expect. Now, speaking of a series that did not go the way I expected, we had the Carolina Royal Ravens taking down Toronto Koi in really quick fashion. So let's look over this and see how things went down, because I think that honestly this is the end of that Toronto Koi experiment with Insight, Riyadh, Joe, and Kleenex. I think Insight is most likely gone, right? Like, let's look at the box score here. Man of the match was, of course, Emperor Nero. Emperor for a day once again. 68 kills, 44 deaths, 7,500 damage. And yeah, let's look at the box score. So Kleenex was a standout for the Toronto Koi side, 69-57, 1.21 KD. Joe Thieves, the superstar, had a rough day, 0.81, Riyadh 0.8, and Insight 0.75. So honestly, it was just Toby not getting much help. 8,500 damage. Next closest person was Joe with 7,000. So he didn't get a lot of help. And pretty uncharacteristic day from these guys, I guess. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Of course, Nero was the king of the castle in this series, 68-44, untradeable. I mean, 1.55 is nutso, right? 1.13 from Craze, the cracked SMG, who is really the hottest pickup for this team. I mean, Lurks has been a great player, but Craze is the guy who gets all the attention. So, speaking of all the attention, Carolina Royal Ravens took it in this map 1. Nero went 32-21. He absolutely blacked out on these guys. Kleenex was 35-23. He tried his very best to stay in it. And Craze was 26-25. So that's all she wrote. In the map 2 exposure S&D, this was not even close. I mean, Carolina just went and, spat on him. Spit on that thing. Hawk to it, So 10-5 from Craze. 8-2 from Lurk. Joe was the only person on Toronto to even do close to decent 7-7, which is not that great. I mean, you got 6-2, right? Map 3 was Exposure Overload. It was 5-3 in favor of the Birds. Yeah, I mean, Nero 32-19, Craze 25-24, 26-25 from the BK. And then on the other side, Riyadh was really the best KD, but Kleenex had the most kills once again, 30-27 from him, Riyadh 26-22. So Kleenex was obviously the standout across the board for Toronto, but, they just had a really bad series and they got absolutely smacked up. So, speaking of people who got smacked up. Oh my god, what happened to Simp? Oh, oh my god, what happened to Simp? Draws an 04. I had to extend the song a little bit because, yeah, I mean, what the hell happened to these guys? Oh, brother. Might be time to go back to Atlanta. Oh my lord, what is going on? They let Super go crazy. Hey, these boys left it dirty and they lost all their ice. Sheesh. Somebody play that DS2, get them right. 72 and 43 from Super. He must have been listening to that DS2. Good lord, he was pouring it up and sipping all kinds of that walkie. Sheesh. 72 and 43, 1.67, 65 and 49 from Trakes, the new upstart rookie on this Miami squad. 54 and 48 from Rencore and Metals. Really slow series for his standards recently, 50 and 57. Now on the other side, of course, Abuza, king of the castle for FaZe, 1.07, 58 and 54. He had a pretty decent series. I mean, that's pretty good performance in most series, but his teammates just let him down ultimately. So speaking of being let down, the Miami Heretics let him down pretty easy, 250 to 132. Absolutely smacked him. Left a red mark right across them. Yeeks. And yeah, I mean, it was just a super takeover show. It was super, super quick and super not kind to FaZe. 29-16 from Super, 1.81, 28-19 from Trakes, 26 and 18 from Rencore, and 25 and 23 from Metals. And then on the FaZe Vegas side, only player to go positive was Abuza, 23 and 22, so barely pause. And everybody else just got smacked up. I mean, 18 and 32 for 04 is crazy. But then you got Simp, 14 and 28. Not my goat, bro. Somebody play the D Green soundbite. No! Well, me from the future, I'll play it. But yeah, I mean, I'm just like, bruh. It's breaking my heart, man. Speaking of hearts being broken, we had a Game 5. Game 2, Round 11, went the way of the Miami Heretics. The Vamos was indeed there, ladies and gents. 9-7 from Trakes, 10-8 from Super. Super's always dropping bombs in S&D. I say it all the time, but 10-8 is crazy. I mean, 10-7 from Simp, 9-7 from 04. Draws the CEO of being ass, I guess, 0.38. CEO of OnlyFans, I don't know. 9-6 from Abuza. So everybody but Draza did pretty decent. If he wasn't like the CEO of selling ass at that point, like probably would have had a pretty solid series. So, speaking of CEOs and selling ass, Draza, of course, again, 0.8, 20 and 25, 04, 21, 27, Simp 23 and 27. Abuza went even, but Miami just absolutely smacked these guys up. Super 1.74, he had a day, 33 and 19. Trakes 28 and 23. Then you have Rencore 24 and 23. And lastly, to round it out, you have Metals with 8.8, 20 and 25. So, that's how FaZe Vegas got the cheeks absolutely clapped. Pre-Valentine's Day. We had 3 pre-Valentine's Day clappings. That's kind of crazy. Then on Valentine's Day, we had some more clapping go down. So let's get into how Saturday started out for us. So as you guys can see, I had a real chill Sonnen day, right? 1 for 3 on Friday. Let's get into Saturday. Saturday was, man, I was cooking. I was cooking with gas on Saturday. Let's check it out. Let's get off of Friday because, man, my G6 were getting slammed. All right, so looking at Saturday's matches, we kick things off with the Paris Gentlemates, and who else but the man with the hottest montage in the Call of Duty space since Zergriz and MW2. Dan Ghosty was absolutely letting them know it's not just Ghosty in finals, it's Ghosty in qualifiers too. That belt is still working and them cheeks are still hurt. You know what I'm saying? So, speaking of belts still working, Selim's belt was actually working quite a bit. He was 83 and 77, so marginally positive, but, you know, I just felt like being a little bit clever there. Anyways, Xed 81 and 86, not bad showing from X. 77 and 83 from Kiz, not really terrible showing in Pred. 0.87. I mean, it's not that bad against a great team like Gentlemates. Like, no one really, like, shot the sheet, so can't be that mad at it. Then on the other side, Ghosty, like I said before, MVP of the match, 91 and 71, 1.28. Neptune, 89 and 77, 1.16. Envoy, the Dark Prince, his resurgence continues, 88 and 84. And Sib, rare bad series for him, especially in recent form, 64 and 84. So, looking at the map 1, it was pretty close, honestly. The Falcons were able to take it. Celium and X went absolutely nuclear. X called game here. He went he went crazy. I mean, yeah, I maybe I'm bringing back the highlights today. I don't know. Sometimes, especially since I started doing these COD stats videos, it's just more visually engaging looking at these scoreboards on COD stats than it was on Breaking Point with those static images and stuff. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If you want, like, highlights to come back, I feel like it's kind of redundant because I already do full series highlights. So overlaying highlights over these videos just feels a little bit weird and double dippy. But just let me know what you guys think. Anyways, let's double dip back into the map 1 analysis. It was a fun map 1, honestly. Mates just came out pretty slow. Sib was getting absolutely tucked good night, and Neptune could not buy a kill. So that's pretty much what I remember from that map. It just felt like General Mates were, you know, starting off a little bit slow. Map 2, they definitely got right back to it and picked up that belt and resumed the lashes. Neptune 13-4, Ghosty 6-3, Envoy 7-4, and Sib 3-5. Just a slow day for Sib, you know. But on the other side for the Falcons, Kismet was the only player to do pretty decent 7-6. Not the most insane game of all time, but you lost 6-2, 7-6. You were definitely doing your thing. If your teammates supported you a little bit more, probably much better game. So map 2 was map 3 was Den Overload, went 4-3 in favor of Ghosty and the boys. Of course, Ghosty had the best KD on the team, 21-17. Neptune 23-23. He went even. Sib went even as well. And on the other side, Pred was 28-21. Wasn't enough though. Selenium 23-20, and then the other two, Xnid and Kiz, both went negative. 19-24 from X and 19-26 from Kiz. So looking at the map 4, we of course had a Scar HP. This was an absolute domination, right? I mean, the Paris mates, you guys can see, it was 250 and 93. I mean, yeah, like Pred was 13-29. This is one of the worst maps I've ever seen Pred have in his career. Xnid 18-23, not that bad. Everybody on Riyadh, with the exception of Pred, was not doing that bad in terms of slaying. It's just mates were on another level. They just blacked out on these guys. It was just like GG pretty early on. I mean, Ghosty was 32-18, Nep was 28-17, Envoy's 29-19, Sib's 15-20. I mean, even in pubs, like if you're getting outslayed that badly, the game's not close. Speaking of games that were not close, this one was quite close. Mercules, of course, savior of OpTic, had a 1.11 KD, 97 and 87 deaths. Looking at the box score, of course, Hook had a 1.1, more kills, and obviously, like, you know, more deaths, right? Because lower KD. But Hook was clearly the most active person on the map in this whole series, which kind of makes sense because I do remember Hook kind of blacking out, I think, in the map 3. So that makes sense. Looking at the Minnesota side, of course, he had Kremp as a real standout. 110-93, 1.18. He actually had the best KD in the lobby. He was frying. Astro at 1.07, 101 kills, 94 deaths. Mamba went slightly negative, 89-91, and Sky's 80 and 87. So pretty solid showing from everybody in the lobby. Shotzi was really the underperformer on the day, 79 kills and 104 deaths. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, Shotzi's been kind of on the downturn. I think he'll pick it up, though. It's Shotzi. So, looking at the map 1, the Minnesota G2 boys, of course, got off to a really hot start. Estriel just absolutely blacked out and just went crazy. I mean, not really a lot to say. Yeah, 250, 154. It's just skill diff from one side. G2, of course, they sat forward a little bit. Kremp took over in this map. He was like, you know what, Estriel, you did your thing. Just chill a little bit, bro. I got this. You know, Merc 8 and 6. Somehow, some way, Merc always has insane amount of kills, and he has always a clutch or two in pretty much every S&D we see from OpTic. But yeah, Kremp, Skies, and Mamba went nuts. Skies and Mamba, that AR duo, of course, 8 and 5 from Skies, 8 and 6 from Mamba. Skies was sniping like a madman. I'm not gonna lie. Speaking of map 3, this is where OpTic started sniping like madman. This is where Hook went nuclear. Okay, I was right. It was map 3 where Hook went nuclear. He went 36 and 22. 1.64 KD. Mercules, of course, the savior of OpTic, 27 and 23 at the 1.17. Then on the other side, Kremp was the only player to go positive, 28 and 27. And we went to a map 4 Scar hardpoint where, of course, OpTic Texas was able to force a game 5. This one got pretty close towards the end. It wasn't really a surefire conclusion that OpTic would win this, so the fact that they were able to win this is pretty respectable. Mercules, of course, was 32 and 28. Hook the Nuke was 31 and 31. Kremp was 37 and 30, and Estriel was 33 and 28. So, looking at the game 5, let's get into that one. Of course, it was a round 11. So, actually, let's go to the channel and check out the round 11, guys. All right. If you've missed anything, of course, all of the highlights are here on the channel. So, game 5, round 11. Let's check out that part, right? Hashtag that part. All right, here we go.
Once again, it's all down to Skies, and he's nowhere to be found. It's a 1v2. through the smoke.
Dashy knows, no. Yeah, Dashy saw him. Absolutely.
He saw him. He one-wayed him all the way. But it might not matter. Big Bruce with a gun. He Skies has got to stay alive.
Well, I think we know what happens, right? Clearly, Skies wins this 1v2. Vine boom sound.
Against his former teammates in a 1v2.
Clearly, he wins this.
Well, but what a way he could call game here.
In my head, I was like, imagine he goes 5 and 7 for the dub in the game 5 round 11. That'd be too icy. But it's Hook and Dashy, bro. Like,
early on, he's trying. The damage is there.
okay. So that's round 11. That's how the series went down. And actually, let's check the scoreboard. So, Dashy, of course, 8 and 6. Merc, dude, Merc is always up there with 8 kills. 8 and 7. Hook 9 and 9. And then on the other side, Kremp, he went nuclear this series. 11 and 7. And then Mamba had 9 and 7. Astral had 8 and 10. Skies didn't have a good game, 3 and 8. But, I mean, it was very close. So, great performance from both teams. Speaking of great performances from both teams, that is not what we got in this Koi versus FaZe series. This was just, honestly, the amalgamation of all of their needed combustion, right, on the Toronto side. Just kind of, this is it, right? This is where the barrel gets blown up from the other end, and you have an absolute bomb, right? I mean, this team is cooked. So, looking at the scoreboard, Insight was the KD leader on the team, 46 and 51. Kleenex had 49 and 57. 48 and 57 from Riyadh, and Joe's Thieves 50 and 64. On the FaZe side, Draza, the CEO, somehow he's always a CEO of these guys. 61 and 46. Abuza 55 and 43, excuse me. Simp finally had a good series, 60 and 48. And then 04 continued his struggles, 51 and 56. Hashtag noticing, hashtag a Luka watch. Just gotta say it. Alright, so looking at map 1, Blackheart map 1 was Simp's playground. He dropped 25 and 20. I mean, it wasn't even a high kill engagement, right? 04 was a standout in the lobby with 28 kills in the hard point, 28 and 24, so you know it was a blowout. Yeah, I mean, on the other side, 25 and 24 from Insight was the best performance of anyone on Toronto. Real was 16 and 24. That brother was in the blender for a minute. He was like 0 and 7 to start the shit or something. So, looking at map 2, we of course had a 6-1 in favor of FaZe Vegas. Behind, of course, the CEO taking over and doing CEO things in S&D. Not surprising at all that Draza was shot calling S&D. I know I trolled on him a little bit earlier, but he's a premier player. I mean, you expect him to do this, right? Booza 6 and 2, his AR duo. Simp, the Phenom 8 and 3, and then 04. I mean, he was just there. He just had to put his feet up. That's it. He went 4 and 4, so all you gotta do is show up. On the other side, the only person that tried to show up was Real 6 and 7, but I mean, you get 6-1, like you didn't stand any sort of chance, right? And then they closed it out on the Den Overload 5 to 3. I mean, honestly, Toronto looked like C9 here. They looked absolutely amateur hour, like it was not good. So looking at the scoreboard, of course, Draza 29-23, Abuza 26-22, blah, 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 Zep 27-25, and 04 19-28. Damn, bro. Damn. Bro's going back to war times. Type of World War II type precursor World War II type bro, like, what are we doing? 1928. Nothing was even going on back then. It was pre-Great Depression type shit in the scoreline. All right, I'm off it. Anyways, Toronto Koi, they got absolutely clapped. Kleenex 27-25. What am I even saying at this point? GG. Like, this shit was... it was clipped. Alright. So, speaking of series that were clipped, we have LA Thieves versus Vancouver Surge. I'm not going to make this forever. I mean, I'm already at 20 minutes. 1.37 from scrap, 104 at 76, blah, 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 blah. Look at the scoreboard. Yeah, I mean, Vancouver got shit on. Scrap 104 and 76, 1.37. Hydra 9974, 1.34. Yeah. Neum, blah, 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 74 and 85. Yeah, I mean, pretty good debut performance for him. And then a BZ third. What? Okay, that's clearly not right. Okay, the stats for BZ are not entered on here. I'll talk to Turn about that. Maybe something in the database got messed up. Okay, so we're not going to analyze this too much. Hydra 1.29, Scrap 1.21, 40 from Scrap, 36 from Hydra. This is an amazing map 1, so if you guys missed this one, go back and check out the highlights. Those will be, of course, these highlights right here. Where are they? Right here. No. Where are we? Where are we, guys? My dumbass. Koi. Okay, here we go. So Surge versus, I need to get better thumbnails on this. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Anyways, this is the video that you're looking for with the highlights. Surge versus, yeah, okay. So anyways, smacked them. Map 2, 6-3. Vancouver went crazy. TJ went absolutely nuts. He put the Vancouver boys in the backpack. He said, let me see y'all how to play S&D real quick. And yeah, that's pretty much what he did. This is what I do type shit. You know what I'm saying? Lunars went nuts in the map 3. Den Overload, but Scrap, I mean, Scrap was too much as always. Hydra 32 and 23. I'm curious how well Abizi did. I feel like he did pretty well on this map. But he might have been 26 and 29 or some shit. Who knows? And then the map 4, Exposure HP. Yeah, I mean, this is a blinker. Scrap blacked out 30 and 16. Hydra 25 and 17. He was honestly just styling on these guys and just doing whatever the hell he wanted to. So yeah, that's the series there. Let's check out. Yeah, I got all 4 series right in terms of predictions on Saturday. So your boy was absolutely cooking. So that's the end of Saturday. And let's see how Sunday went. Actually pretty decent for me, decidedly. So looking at Sunday, we of course know that I thought it would be a 3-2 in favor of the Gentlemates. I thought that the Paris Gentlemates would get taken to the brink by the Miami Heretics. You guys can see I wagered 1,000 G stakes creds on this. I actually came back during the weekend and made some restakes because I had some wins. So I was like, I'll put more creds down, try to win more creds. So looking at the series MVP, the man who got all the creds and all the cred for this win, of course, was that man Sib. 101 and 93. Great rebounds from him after he had a rough series to start their Major 2 campaign, right? So, yeah, Sib, of course, stand out here. 101 and 93. Ghosty, 74 and 72. Neptune, 92 and 91. And then Envoy, 85 and 100. So, rough day for Envoy, but he's had a great year, so you can't really be too upset with it. Rancor, 1.25. And then, honestly, everybody on the Miami side, they contributed pretty solid. Like, no one really did that badly. So, 0.98, 0.93, and 0.92, I mean, you could still win with those KDs. So, I mean, it was honestly just a really close game, a close series, and it came down to decision making from the Miami side. Like, Gentlemates is just a better team in terms of their decision making and their adjustments. So that was really a difference maker here. It wasn't like, oh, you know, they absolutely embarrassed. No, it was a close series. So, looking at it, Neptune was 39-29, Sib 37-32, and then everybody else, Ghosty and Envoy, both went neg. 26 and 34 from Envoy, 25 and 27 from Ghosty. Then on the other side, in the Scar hardpoint, of course, Rencor, the king of Scar at this point, 1.25, 35 and 28. 34 and 28 from his AR Rookie of the Year co-winner, Super. And then, of course, the other two, Metals and Trakes, dropped 0.7s again, bro. Oh, man, that makes me sad. 0.7s again against the mates. Oh, man. Okay, on the raid S&D, this, of course, went 6-4 in favor of Rencor and the boys. Rencor took over here. Wasn't really expecting that. I expected it to be a super takeover like it typically is, especially on raid S&D. But, you know, that's the beauty of this Miami team. They have so many great players on the team. Anybody can get hot and do what they need to. So, on the other side, Ghosty did his very best, 7 and 5. Envoy also had 7. He had 7 and 9, but it just wasn't enough to take down the Miami Heretics, who I think are definitely one of the top 3 S&D teams in Black Ops 7. So, speaking of threes, we went to map 3, Scar Overload, where Metals was the KD leader, but the Gentlemates got the win in a close overload. 32 and 28 from Sib. Everybody else on the Gentlemates went negative. Ghosty had a 0.77, so rough map for him. Low engagements as well. And then on the Miami side, they had more pressure, but the objective efficiency of the mates overall was clearly much better, right? They won the map, so that's really all that can be said there. Then looking at the Den HP, where we close out this series, of course, with a decisive 3-1 for the mates, proving that they're still just a step above everybody else in this game at the moment. Of course, Dan Ghosty blacked out like he typically does on Den HP. This is honestly Ghosty's best map. Typically, he's the Den demon. And yeah, I mean, he's like, hey, you're not getting into my den. Stay out of my man cave, you know? 25 and 18 out of Mr. Daniel Ghosty. 27 and 24 out of his AR duo Sib. Other two, the SMGs, Neptune and Envoy, both went slightly negative, 0.9 and 0.86. And then on the Miami side, Trakes actually blacked out here. He's 36 and 24. He was going crazy. 1.5 on the map, 4,000 damage, and a loss that's that egregious is actually pretty crazy. And then, of course, Super and Metals had a rough one. Metals had a 0.63. Super had a 0.81. And then Rencor went even with 24 and 24. So you get a little bit more from everybody, and, you know, they'll win. So yeah, this was my biggest G-Sig loss ever, ironically. I thought the Falcons had a pretty easy dub. I thought this Boston team was really dysfunctional and kind of broke, but now I'm kind of broke. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get it back, I guess, next week with some better picks on not Riyadh Falcons. Keep calling Vegas Falcons. So let's look at this. Man of the match, Nasty had a 1.11. Same as Merc the other day, 82 and 74, 10,000 damage. So great series from Nasty. 82 and 74 from him, obviously, like I said. Cammy, his AR duo was right there to support him, 88 and 85. So great showing from Nasty and Cam. That EU duo was definitely cooking. Snoopy, 79 and 82, and Purge, 88 and 92. So Snoopy's honestly just been kind of low engagement. It's kind of interesting. But I guess in this new team, excuse me, he's just being enabled to play a different role. So looking at the other side, Pred had a 1.01, 85 and 84. Cell was 80 and 80. Exton was 85 and 87, and Kismet was 82 and 86. So honestly, the Riyadh boys didn't really get outslayed that bad in the box score. It really just came down to decision making and key moments in different setups, like the overtime and overload, etc. So this match started 250 to 204 in the exposure HP, 25 and 21 from Cell, 25 and 21 from Kiz, 26 and 28 from X, and 22 and 24, excuse me, from Pred. And then on the other side, you had Purge, 29 and 26, Cammy, 27 and 25, and Snoopy and Nasty both went negative. Nasty to 0.73 and Snoopy 0.88. The map 2, Colossus S&D went the way of the Breach. This is where they started their gentleman sweep behind a 12 and 6 performance from Cammy. And then on the other side, you had Preg going 8 and 7, X going 8 and 8. Then Kismet and Cell both went negative, 7 and 9 for Kiz and 6 and 9 for Celium. Let's check out the round 11.
Falcons, let's get it on. Damn, Boston have to switch up that. Down Purge. Pred is going to figure out what loadout he wants and then join the Falcons as Boston's going to go right back to the middle of the map. Hexton will give you the opener. Kismet stuck with an 8 out, but it lands. Oh, mercy. How in the world does that land in time? So aggression for Boston has worked out for them defensively quite a bit. Right here. Looking at the variable meat over to the top of B. Kismet gives you one, but not the second.
So that's a big momentum swing in the series, right? Winning around 11 in that fashion. So then they carried that into the Den overload where they won 4-3, behind 31 and 20 from Nasty, 20 and 27 and 23 from Parrish to absolutely catapult the Boston Breach to the precipice of a big, much needed win. Cammy was 13 and 24, so really rough map, but you got the dub. I mean, you got carried. And then on the other side, only person positive was King Cobra, 23 and 18, is what it is. Looking at the map for Colossus HP, you of course had Cammy as a standout, 36 and 30, Nasty 28 and 25, and Snoop 31 and 30, which is pretty solid considering Snoop's been kind of slowing down. Then on the other side for the Riyadh Falcons, you had Exton 32 and 27. Exton has been playing really, really well for this team. He's honestly been one of the most consistent players. And Pred, of course, was 31 and 28. So that was my lone loss on Sunday. And then, of course, I had the LA Thieves taking down the Carolina Royal Ravens. I thought it'd be a 3-1. Ended up being a 3-0, so I'm not going to dissect that one too much. We're going to be getting out of here pretty soon, ladies and gents. So, man of the match was a BZ, 1.38, 55 and 40. 53 and 41 for Neum. Great showing for the rookie. 53 and 44 for Scrap. And then Hydra, 54 and 47. Then the other side, Nero, 55 and 52. He was the only player on the Ravens to go positive with the 1.06. Crazy at a 0.86, Lurk had a 0.7, and Exceed had a 0.58. Sheesh, the BK is back. So, looking at the map 1, Colossus, Abizi, he blacked out 28 and 20, Scrap 28 and 23, Neum 25 and 22, and Hydra 23 and 26. Then on the other side, 28 and 25 from Nero, 28 and 27 from Craze, and that's the best that anyone on Carolina did. 19 and 27 from Lurk, and 16 and 25 from Exceed. Jesus. Map 2, the Exposure S&D. This is where Neum took over, 7 and 4, best KD on the team and in the lobby, consequently. And then Abizi 8 and 6, Hydra 8 and 6, and Scrap 8 and 7. So Thieves honestly just dominated. Lurk was 9 and 7. He was doing a lot to try to will these guys to win. Craze was trying to help him out, but just wasn't good enough. Then in the map 3, Den Overload, Thieves had the same score, 6 to 4, 23 and 15 from Hydra, 21 and 15 from Neum. Abizi 19 and 14, and Scrap 17 and 14. And then Nero 24 and 19, and everybody else went very negative. So just a tough one for the Ravens, and this was a welcome back to the bedroom series. So, speaking of a welcome to the bedroom and welcome to the League Series, Cloud9 got both in the same occurrence. 1.32 for Estriel, our series MVP, 70 and 53, 7,300 damage. Then Skies had 63 and 53, and Mamba and Kremp both went negative against these guys, which is interesting. Nezra on the C9 side was the clear standout, 68 and 65, Encourage 56 and 57, Ocus 54 and 61, and Hyde 54 and 63. So honestly, not that bad for C9. We expect them to do way worse, and they did much better than expected. In the map 1, Den HP, this one was pretty close, surprisingly. C9 New York brought it back towards the end of the game. It was a really big lead, and then, you know, I guess maybe it was more G2 trolling. I don't know. Maybe C9 was getting comfortable playing at the pro level, getting their first real reps in. Sometimes just takes a second to adjust. But yeah, I mean, they did decent in this map. Encourage, like I said, 31 and 24. Ocus 25 and 23. Nezra 30 and 30. And then on the other side, Estriel went nuts, 30 and 24. Skies had the same score line. And then Mamba 24 and 26. And Kremp 23 and 35. He's getting tucked. So on the map 2, Exposure S&D, yeah, C9 just got tucked. I mean, 9 and 4 from Mamba, 8 and 4 from Estriel, 4 and 2 from Skies, 5 and 6 from Kremp. And then 6 and 7 from Nezra, 5 and 6 from Ocus. Encourage 3 and 7, and Hyde 2 and 6. They got cooked. Then the map 3, Scar Overload. Of course, this was where it ended, right? As you'd expect. Nezra dropped 32 and 28, Hyde 30 and 27, and then Encourage 22 and 26, and Ocus 24 and 32. Then on the other side, Estriel, of course, blacked out again, 32 and 25, Kremp 28 and 25, Skies 29 and 27, and Mamba 24 and 31. And yeah, that's how our week ended. So if you guys missed anything, be sure to go check out all of the highlights. They are in the new CDL Stage 2 playlist. So got everything in here, got it all organized. And yeah, catch you guys on the next video. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, like I always say. And I'll be bringing you guys something tomorrow, TBD. So catch you guys then. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, like I always say. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Again, this is Chris from Fake Sports News, X Rotation. However, flip me on these interwebs, and I'll catch you guys then. Peace.